Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. I'm going to look at these as a first-time site visitor, and even if I've looked at them already, I'm going to check them for functionality, design, layout, and all of those things. The reason we have you keep them really basic and simple, when you get to week 4, you're going to be looking at accessibility. So that means the more elements you have, the more adjusting you'll have to do for accessibility, right? And the simpler your site is, the friendlier it is, and the more inviting it is for your site visitor. Okay, so there's a lot of reasons we try and keep it simple. It will look stronger in the end. So let's just jump right in. All right, Alan, I'm wondering, I really love the simplicity. I love the colors. They work so well together, how you've picked up the peach here and the not quite black, but more of a brown. Really smart color combination. I do want to ask if you thought, if maybe you were working in a different screen size. I'm viewing at 100%. If I zoom back out at 90, I see all of this. So sometimes students are working at a different percentage in their screen without realizing it. But just double check and see if that's the case, all right? So I'm going to go to full screen. This, I think, could have a little more distinction from this, whether it's a light button, a light color button here, or down here a little bit, something like that. It does feel like a third sentence, a beginning, or a wrap of that one, is, rather than a button. Okay, great. I really appreciate sites that don't have a lot of scrolling. So that really works. I wonder, okay, you have that like that. It might work well on mobile. Okay, I like this font. It's working well, and I think it's matching that, and that's smart too. You've limited your font styles. I love that. Okay, we'll want to close this space. Okay, interesting. Let's see, what did you use that for? For this, perhaps, and so you left that there. Okay, I think what I would do is, you can have it there, but I wouldn't put it in such bold. It's not always typical to have it on our websites, but I commend you for having it. Maybe I would do it in something similar to this, here in just a little darker shade than this. So it doesn't have to stand out. It can be there without being really bold. It could also go down here and be as light as that. But they're going to wonder what part you used it for. So you want to make sure that it does stay with this so they don't think it's part of your portfolio, because obviously we want that to be all of your natural work here. Great job. Nice work on this. I'm inclined to think that this, that maybe you still want to use your existing font style, which is this one. Interesting. Let's check that out. Okay. Yeah, and it's a little different there. So I think I would stick with this. I'm not sure I would underline it. Maybe bold, because underlining still feels like it should be a clickable link. Just a little bit on that, but I really like it. Make sure you have vertical spacing that is consistent, with your work. But this is going to be a great foundation for you. You're going to be able to add more work, maybe even, a line here and beginning more work. There's just so much you can do with this because you've kept it simple. And so I can't stress enough how important that is. This, I'm not so sure about this. It feels like a lot of instructions. Instead, I think what you want, you definitely want this, and you want something really short here. Yes, it could be a call to action. It could be a a larger text here. It could be either in this font, whatever you've had your headings in previously. Then you would have that here, maybe say contact, and I would reduce some of this for sure. So this probably isn't necessary. You do need to have this, and you probably don't have to say we can be reached. You just have your email here. But yeah, I would reduce this, just have a heading here. Definitely this is looking good, and a lot less here. You have your socials over here. That's great. So yeah, I would just really cut this down to just a few lines of the basics and a title heading there. All right, let's check out the mobile. You have these up here. I think I would bring this up and put those at the bottom, even if they went here, I think, rather than splitting that up that way. Okay, close that space. I think you're going to want the hierarchy to be the largest. Well, this is a good size here, but you have it larger here. So let's see. You wouldn't even need this. You could put this up here. Okay, and then your image and your text, that could go up here. Yeah. And I would just lighten that instead of a bold. I know it's easy to read and everything, but again, they're going to ask, well, what part maybe. Closing that up. Subscribe today. We would need to have, you can add a subscription button here just by going under your elements, add elements in your Wix site editor, and you can add a subscribe where they would put their emails, and then you would be able to actually send out mass little invites and things like that, updates to that list that you collect of emails. I would close this up for sure, lighten that up, but yeah, it's really looking good. Some really good color choices going on like that. Let's see how. Okay, so that may be down here, a little bit of space there. Okay, we talked about that font. Yeah, I would put your socials down here in this case. We just want to get into this. You could put your primary there. Yeah. Also, I'm not sure you need this. It could just be a heading. I'm not sure that you need the colon. Okay, let's see. And again, just a little heading for contact and a little less info. Yeah, only the essential. They tend to read it if it's just the essentials. Okay, terrific job, great job. Okay, Serena, let's see, what do we have? Nice. Okay, good job. I like that you aren't overlapping text, like your titles and things. I like that it says the same thing here as it does here. It's still looking really good. And you're using a very legible font. Love that. And I do love that image. I think it's really casual and professional. At the same time, you've got a catch light in the eye. Well done. This is easy to read, high contrast. And let's see, you have your email. Eventually you'll have a Gmail instead of your Full Sail email. probably, yeah. Think about this. It's kind of bare, and at the same time, if we close that up, you would not need this because we're just going to the next strip. But think about it. Okay, I do like this, but we want to make sure that this is in your header so that it's on every page. It's a one-pager. What you can do is you can freeze your header. Now, if your header is all of this, then that would be too deep. But you can freeze, if your header is just this and this, you can pin that or freeze that by going up into your header. It'll have the orange link there, and it will have the gear, and you can select your header style and freeze it. And then it will always be right here at the top. I know you don't have a lot of scrolling, but that's really what we do in that case. I'm not sure what this is here for, so double check that. Okay, but working well, working well. Let's see here. Good, good. Nice. This is a good font to go with this. That's good font pairing. Okay. Okay, it's not so bad actually. But you've got this. Yeah. You might close it just a little, and then the question is, would you need that at all? You can pin your navigation to be there, but it's really such a simple site. It's so clean and simple. At least on desktop, I don't mind scrolling at all. It's so little. It's just a single one swipe. And this looks really nice, but do consider that and check it on your own mobile, all right? But everything is working perfectly. You have a great layout. You might want to close that a little bit. And very easy to read. I think your accessibility in week 4 is going to be pretty easy, okay? All right, great job. Okay, let's see. Good. Good. We might want to remove this or bring this down. If this is your home page, maybe you put a simple demo reel here, very short, or you just remove that page. Okay, you don't have to have it. You can start on your About page. Easy to read. I'm not a fan of these emojis, but some people like them. To me, they say Chat GPT, but you know, I'm going to leave that up to you. Let's remove this button. It's not needed for going just up here. It's a great photo, by the way. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Good. All right, do make sure that this doesn't play automatically. Okay, you want to make sure that your user has control over it. So go into that, manage media, and select that it doesn't automatically play. Okay, there's a lot of reasons for that, and it has to do with, you know, if people are in a public place or at work or whatever, they want control over that audio. All right. All right. Make sure this is a free Google Voice number and not your home number. All right, clean, nice. Yeah, it's just this front page. I would delete the home page. I would make sure you check that spacing here. So, and it is still better to have left align paragraph text. It's where the eye moves to the same location, and it just improves readability for people, they have found. When you do, if you are building websites for other people and you do decide to center line, you have to be sure it's making a shape that is really working for the brand, for example. Let me close that up. Okay. All right, that took a second. Work on that wrap. Sometimes you can edit directly into the mobile editor, and sometimes you have to actually take it out and retype. It's just something about that. But do work on that layout there for sure. And then that home page. All right. Otherwise, it's looking really good. All right. Nice. I like this logo. It's really clean, Wesley. Looking good. Okay, your font is legible. That's all good. Okay. Consider, well, this is fine. You may want it to drop back a little bit in opacity. They have a lot of blues here. Good. So I'm curious, what happens here?
I used to sleep so good, didn't have a night.
Okay. Good. You're providing the needed information to move around. I love that image. This one is just a little busy to be a background. That's the thing about this type of scrolling parallax. We have to have something in the background that doesn't compete with the foreground. As much as I like it, that's the only issue I'm having with it that I'm not having with this. Okay. Good. Nice and consistent. Nice. Interesting. Okay. Okay. You may want to also pin this header so it's always there. And again, that's just going into the header, the orange header icon link, and opening up the gear and selecting the freeze option. So think about it if you want that. I like this. You've made it really clear what it is you do, but you've got this hierarchy still. And usually we can't put a lot of things here, but they're all connected, and it's really easy to make sense. You've separated your name and you've used commas correctly. Nice job there. Your rollovers are great. They're going to show on every page. Plus you have a good contrast there. So yeah, well done. Loving this. Okay, let's see. Probably wish we weren't cutting off the front end of the deer. That might be an improvement. Not a lot to do to make it better. There's even, everything's even and nice. That could probably have the same space as that. Maybe, maybe not. It's at the bottom. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's the only thing that's really noticeable. You have this over here, then this over here. This one's here. You know, just make sure that those are exactly where you want them, that that's all purposeful. It doesn't really bother me because it's not covering content. You have it in a place where it's easy to read, and maybe that was the choice. But yeah, here you've got this and this. But yeah, great job. Great job. Let's check all this. Good. I do have to roll up to get to your navigation. I know you'll have this down here, but that's only for at the very bottom. Nice work. Really great. Easy to read. Nice left alignment. You're talking very specifically about what you do. You show us what you do. Excellent job. Excellent. All right. Fred, you've had a good month too. And let's make sure we bring this down so we're not overlapping necessarily those. You've made it on each one, so it can feel like a style, so that's acceptable. Okay. I think I would go a little bigger with your font. Okay, if that means you have to edit a little bit, then maybe you do, but you also have this space here, so I think bring it over just a pixel or a point here to the right, bringing your margin in just a little more, and making it a 16 point, I think is going to be necessary. Okay, like I said, if you have to cut a little bit, a line or two, I think it'll be worth it. Okay, looking good. Nice job there. Okay, make sure an us is an us. Okay. Would it be, let's see. Okay. Can be. All right. Again, I'm going to say consider freezing this. Maybe this could, I like this here. You may want to put it over here just so you don't have such a deep header. The other thing I'm going to suggest, there are a few things that are going to come up for you. Okay, good. A few things are going to come up. Probably I would put this in a lighter font and not have the box behind it. Okay. The thing that is going to come up for you is the name of these buttons. When you get to week 4, accessibility is going to ask you to name those. Okay, rather than just button. That would be for a screen reader. And it appeared to me that you have some work. And because you have some work examples, well, I would take out I would keep the things that are not from your schoolwork if you can, if you have enough things. I'm not sure you need the back, okay, because you'll have this up here. I do like the way this stays up here when you go here, but you don't need that. This background, I'm going to overlook it. We do want to avoid stock, but it's not distracting so much from what you do. And you have enough original work that I'm not concerned. Okay, but again, if you have original things, those are the pieces you want to showcase, even if it's just 1 or 2. Okay, because I know that's a student project. It's okay for now, but remember, you're going to start putting some of your own work in those places. All right? Otherwise, looking really good. Let's check this. All right. Maybe close that just a little. Okay. Bring that up. If you're going to say portfolio, then we're probably going to want to get into your portfolio instead of services. Okay. Which means this would say portfolio because we just selected portfolio. I was going to say in your case, I would permit you to have a service page, which means you would add that right here or here, and then your portfolio would go to probably this. Okay. That's just the thing. We want to reduce the amount of clicking and in between pages. Okay, so you could have, just, I'm not going to ask you to do this for now, but you could have photo projects and have 2 photos, video projects under that, right? It's just the misleading part is going from portfolio to our services. When I click on it, it takes me here, right? Other than that, it's looking really good and it's functioning just the way you want it. Again, when you get to week 4, you're going to be looking at your accessibility. So every element that you have added will be looked at. So now would be the time to streamline it, okay? And think about just a couple of 2 or 3 work examples, all right? All right, Carl. Nice, interesting photo here. Easy to read. We have your name and what you do. Perfect. And your professional link. Okay. Not sure about this, mainly because the pixelation, it's not a sharp image, so it's not really needed. Good job here. Let's hope when we click on those that they don't automatically play. If you're going to use this, make sure it's a sharper image and then consider making these that color to tie that in. And yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would remove these emojis, you guys, because they're going to be dated really fast. Okay. It'd be like having a AOL account or something. So keep that in mind. We want to keep things as evergreen as we can. Let's take a look at the mobile. Okay. I want to bring that up a bit. I'm sorry if you hear the sirens. I don't even live in a big city, but it's starting to feel that way. Yeah, I would make your name a little bigger up here. But otherwise, terrific job, terrific job. You've got this. You have this. Love it. Okay. I don't mind emojis when you're, on social media and things like that. That's kind of expected. But social media only lasts, not very many minutes. And then someone else's content kind of gets placed over it. But your website is more of a permanent home. Okay. Nice job. All right. I do want to be able to go back here. There we go. All right. Good job. Nice work. All right. Let's see. We can look at a couple more. All right. Clean. Love it. Nice, bold title. Clear. Okay. Good job. Might want to close that up a little bit for now. And this, if this is going to be your footer, yeah, I'm not sure that this is here or if it's just doesn't have the color contrast we need, because it seems like it's there, your menu, but on this particular page the color isn't showing up. So I have to kind of guess. Apparently I keep hitting the works page, but that is really important for your navigation. Okay, and it works here. So what page should we come in on? Your works page. And yet it's showing there. So double check that. I'm not sure why it's not showing up immediately. I did this the other day too. So double check that. Okay. Nice work. Make that not quite so deep. Good. Okay, we do have to scroll a little to get to your about. That's okay. Introduce us there. Okay. So you probably want to see these films. Okay. So that's something you'll want to do, is embed those. You can come over here, select the plus, and go to video music, drag this, and change the video by going to your YouTube and getting the URL and popping it in here. But that's one of the things we're probably going to want to see. All right. All right, let's look at the mobile. Okay. We may want to move this over a little, bring that line up here, designer up here. I think would be the solution there. I do like the bold font. You have great hierarchy here. This is nice and bold, and then you have a subheading and easy to read. So great job there. Left align this. This could probably be smaller here. And I would put your social and your footer. Put your work there. Close that up. Okay, great color scheme. I really like it. And yeah, just a few edits, all right? Well done. Okay, Rebecca, nice. You have this in your header, easy to read, nice hierarchy, consistent font styles. Nice. Again, double check that you're working in 100% and not 80 or 90%. If I zoom in, you might be seeing this, but I'm at 80% there, okay? So 100% has me up here at actual size, okay? But strong layout, photo, text, all of that. So this is a bit of an issue. We need to look at what that links to, or So you would either remove that page, or you would take this content and put it over there on this page, and then it would link to that. And then your home page you could remove if you wanted. You could rename that project if you wanted. You could bring it up here and it would look just like this. But right now, the other alternative, what you could do is rename this projects, and probably, yeah, you could rename that projects and delete this page. That might be the quickest thing. Be careful about how that is being cropped when we crop text. So let's see. A little big. You might think that, I'm wondering if you weren't working here, because that's just a little bit big. Okay. Just a little. Okay. You may even want to put this below this. Okay, so when we land on your page, we come to the actual video, and then you can put the content underneath it. All right. Okay. All right, let's check the mobile. Okay. If you wanted, you could put a little less content here rather than all of that. You could link to this, and that's fine. But in the future, you could also just put a little bit underneath each and let it play right there. But this is fine too. Okay. Yeah, we want to do something about that. And these are not linked up, so be careful about that. But I love how clear it is. You've got great font selections and hierarchy, so well done there. All right. Nice and clean. It definitely has the vibe you're going for. You have your socials linked up. Good job. This isn't a difficult font to read because of the very thin strokes, so I think I gave you some options of what might work a little better in that way. This is really hard to read. Maybe this needs to drop back a little bit. I do like the animation. Maybe it just needs to not have that image there so you can read the vivid descent. Or maybe it doesn't have that text at all, and this is part of your logo. I didn't realize that turned green, so that's cool. Nice and clean. You have your font that's placed in the same location, same size, same font, same color. Love that. I like how it all works together in a color scheme. I like that. Okay, I think I talked about a little space here, and if you have enough resolution, make that a little larger. You probably do not need the search button here. I know it makes that empty, but probably I don't think that with 3 images that you need that. So this is placeholder, so make sure you remove that, all right? And So this either isn't linked, it says it is, but it's either not linked or the page it's linked to has a really large file size. Okay. Okay, so what you need is to have this actually placed. What's going to happen is if you put this here, and if people do go left to right, that they're going to land away from your page, and that you don't want. Okay, so you're going to need to come over here to your projects and actually embed that. And I think you saw how to do that just a moment ago, where you come over here and you're simply going to drag this, videos and music, single video player, and take this, add it there. You can also duplicate those. And then, you can add your content here, your descriptions. You're just going to add your YouTube link here, and it's going to pop right in there. All right. So I believe that that is what you need to do here. Okay, so you need some cleanup on this page. And this is not going anywhere. Okay, so that page, I like the art, but it's not, it's linking away and it's linking to the same thing. So that's kind of an issue, and you definitely need to have your projects on your site. Okay? All right. Let's look at the mobile. Let's make sure, well, let me refresh. Yeah, you want to wrap that. And that's okay here once you wrap that. You're going to have the video here. Yeah. And you'll want to work on that. Okay. All right. Terrific start. You've got, you want to spend some more time working on putting your projects in your site, right? Okay, do we have any more? We have one more. Okay, Amy, let's see. You definitely, I think you want to use a sans serif here and left align. This is still empty, so that's placeholder. That has to come out. I would just remove this link altogether. Show reel and photos, take this out, close it up since we don't have that. Photos, make sure that you've got a description for each, and remember, every element and image you put in, you're going to have to work with in your week for accessibility checks. Make sure that these, at least a LinkedIn is there. We need higher contrast here, the yellow. Good job putting what you do. Actor, script supervisor, director, writer, good. Okay, so we need to have some example there. Let's work on extending the width of this text box so that it doesn't wrap here. Make sure that that's a free Google Voice number. Okay, you've got all your socials, but the Facebook is not linked. This one is not linked, not and not. So make sure we don't have duplicates that aren't linked. If it's on there, it needs to be linked. You need some projects there for sure. Okay, so what you have right now are photos, but they need to be on your project page. So you need an About Me page and your product page, and your product should be showing what you do, right? So jobs that you've done. If it's a script supervisor, you need to have something that is an example of that. Let's see, if I click on an image, it should have a description. I'm not sure what this image is for. Okay, I can see script supervising here. Actor. Okay, I guess you're saying this is you, but we need to have instructions on some of this stuff. All right, if you go into your Manage Media and you select the work, you might be able to edit there. If this is a pro gallery, for example, you can go in and edit there. Here is a difference here. Let's see if I'm here. So what some of you will have is content here, and it might be portfolio and have a lot of different pages. There would be a gear that you would select and delete that. All right, but let's say I wanted to put a gallery here. I could go here, and let's see, maybe I want a pro gallery, or even recommended would be one of these. But let's say I want a pro gallery or a video gallery. I'm not sure which one you used. I'd have to go back and look, but okay. But you could choose something I think you mostly have a collage type. And so when you add something like that, you're going to need to manage the media. Of course, you're going to remove anything that you don't have. And then you're going to go in here and give it a title name, and describe it. All right, so this is about a, and fill that in. Alt text is what the screen reader would read, and that would be a very brief description, what it is visually. So then if I publish and I preview, okay. Okay, so now I'm not sure which one I did, but it's going to have it right here every time you click open, if that's what you used. Okay, all right, let's look at the mobile. You want to move that. You'll want to wrap that down here so that doesn't happen. You won't necessarily need to have it here because you'll have it up here. Left align. That's going to be gone. That's going to be gone. And just a few images makes the most sense. And you have to be very clear about what it is that you're showing, right? So they have to be labeled. And that would show up, your description, all right? Okay, let's see. Yeah, nothing there. So that has to come out, or you move your photos over there, which is probably the better thing to do. So there's no scrolling, and that way you'll just have your about here. Take that off, and move those over to your works page. All right? Okay. All right, everybody. I'm really excited about where you've come so far in just 2 weeks, And I'm looking forward to seeing your edits and your revisions for next week. All right? Good job.